the world. In our own little way, whilst the Port of Tyne, I'm afraid, is unable to offer 5 million quid over the next few days, what we hope to do is generate the same quality of ideas, the same sharing of concepts, catalysing you, enthusing you, and hopefully engaging a number of you in ways that you haven't thought about before, in order that our sector, the maritime sector, is similarly aspirational, similarly thinking in earth-shot terms. I'm not very good with words, so I'm not quite sure, and it would be inappropriate to say a tidal wave of ideas or a tsunami of ideas, but you get the idea. The plan is that you should act, that these 3 days should encourage you to act. Act individually, act within your team in your organisation or your family at home or your social communities that you engage with, and act at an organisational and societal level. And the reason that's so important is pretty obvious. Those pictures from space of our planet, it's blue, because most of it's water. And we in the maritime industry are responsible for moving stuff across that water to help people around the world live better lives. 95% of the world's stuff, everything I'm wearing, everything I ate for breakfast, what I'm standing on, the energy that's being generated, the technology that allows me to communicate through the internet, in some way, shape or form, is transported by water. And that's why our industry is so important. It's dispersed across the planet. It engages every country, landlocked or otherwise. But it's particularly important for our country because we're an island. We've got lots of ports. We're very proud of our deep water port here at the Port of Tyne. Lots of ports, an incredibly strong maritime heritage. And what's really important is there's the engineering of building ships, running ports, moving physical things. There's also a huge repository of expertise in the UK around the insurance, the banking, the arrangements, the agents, everything that makes the maritime industry tick and work, and that enables those supply chains, as we would now describe it in the 21st century, to work effectively and efficiently for all the citizens of the world. So please don't limit your thinking over the next few days to this being about water, or about ships, or ports, or moving stuff, but all the things that help that occur. And one of the joys of chairing an organisation like the Port of Tyne is to watch, as I have had the privilege of doing over the last few years, to see how new ideas, new people, new technologies have really stepped up our ability to deliver to our customers and enhance those supply chains. Who would have thought that you needed more software engineers in a port than you needed crane drivers? Who would have thought that 5G technology enabled you to track tea from India all the way to a small shop in Newfoundland where somebody goes in and buys a particular blend that here at the Port of Tyne we've probably mixed for them, albeit at giant sack level. So those kind of transformations that are taking place in our industry, as indeed they are in all other industries, I think is something that you should hold on to over the next 3 or 4 days and think through and think laterally about what other industries are doing. And as a result, you're going to be talking and having input from 40-odd speakers. They range from people who specialise in pasties. It wouldn't be the Northeast if we didn't engage with Greggs and pasties, all the way through to AI. You don't need Elon Musk and Rishi Sunak to talk about AI. We're more than capable of doing it here because we use it all day, every day. Every time you go on some automated telephone, you're using AI. Every time you log onto an app, you're using AI. It's transforming our organisations. The other day I had the privilege of seeing an autonomous truck out here that will be moving some of our containers around the port. It won't be long before we see autonomous cars driving their way to the port themselves in the middle of the night rather than coming on low loaders. And the reason these innovations are so important is because they do contribute to decarbonisation. They absolutely contribute to the greening of the economy. and the greening of the planet, and therefore making the planet more livable for our children and our grandchildren. So all this tech AI stuff isn't a nice to have. It isn't space age stuff. It's about making our planet more livable, a better place for us to exist and to have a better quality of life for several generations to come. So this is essential work that you are doing over the next 2 or 3 days. And I don't want you to feel burdened by that responsibility. I want you to enjoy it. I want you to thrive in what I hope will be an incredibly stimulating environment. I know Joe and the team are really rather expert at making you work hard and feel as if you're having enormous fun. I know you'll be doing challenges, hackathons, using the port as a lab rat or guinea pig for some of the ideas, and the same with colleagues from BT and around the country. So please have a fabulous time. And finally, I've finished with one thing that gives you, for me, a really clear illustration of how people can do things way beyond what they thought they could do. I'm of the generation where I grew up with Hong Kong Phooey on telly. And Hong Kong Phooey was a meek, mild-mannered janitor who, when he put his dressing gown on, turned into a superhero. So by day, my port colleagues run a port. A lot of people think that's really quite dull. You move things from water to land and then from land to water. But it's stuff that keeps the lights on and that we eat and all that kind of stuff. And then, hey presto, for the second year running, they put on an internet-enabled, globally accessible major event around real frontier thinking, frontier technology that's going to advance, hopefully, the whole of our industry globally. I think that's remarkable, and I'm incredibly proud of them. Who knew that people who run a small port in the northeast coast are capable of doing this? But if my team are capable of doing this, just think what collectively we're capable of doing over the next 3 or 4 days in terms of really developing our industry and really making the whole planet a lot better for a lot of people. Have great fun. Please learn a lot. Please meet new people. Please experiment with ideas. And as my mother used to tell me, Lucy, you've got one mouth and 2 ears if only you use them in that proportion. But please do that, because you'll learn so much more by listening to people who are different from you. So that's enough from me. I hope you have a wonderful time. I'm going to hand over. We've got a short video from the Shipping Minister, Baroness Charlotte Vere, who also wants to celebrate and endorse the work that you're going to be doing over the next few days. So I'm going to hand over to the video from Charlotte. Thank you very much.